In most games, you want to create an environment where the battles are equal. In chess, for example, you start with the same pieces. In racing games, you roughly start on the same spot. But, my friends, with Valorant, things are a little different, because in Valorant, equal battles are bad. What? Why? The reason, when you get into a battle with an opponent in Valorant, you always need to put yourself into a situation where you have an unfair advantage. And that's where this video is all about, because in this video, I'll go over 7 ways how you can create unfair advantages in your game, so that in your next game, you will win all those 1v1s easy peasy. Now sit back, relax, and let's talk about the first thing: use previous rounds. This is actually the whole motivation of this video, because recently I played this game over here, and in this game either Chamber or Teho was peeking mid every round. And not without success, because first he got B.
Oh, never mind.
The next round no kill, but he did peek window. After that again a lot of damage on me in mid.
Boys there.
And in the 4th round, the kill on Clove. So at this point, it was well known that the enemy really liked to peek middle. When this happens, you can do 2 things. You either ignore it, or you're gonna wait in mid with a lot of your teammates, and that way create an unequal battle for your team. We went for the second option in this game. So in conclusion, the first thing is to use previous rounds to make a prediction of what the enemies are gonna do, and then create a counter or set a trap for that enemy. Chamber had no chance over there. And setting up traps with your teammates brings us to the second point: use your teammates to create more unequal battles. I know, basic Valorant knowledge, right? But still, not enough players are using this tactic to the fullest. And that's mainly because of the same excuse I hear over and over again, and that's that it's the fault of your teammates that they don't want to play together. But here's the thing, this might sound a little bit confusing, but I'll show some examples a little later. But you can actually play together with your teammates without your teammate playing together with you. What? Huh? If you want to play together, you need to have 2 people that are in, right? Well, not necessarily. A nice example is from my recent episode of the Waylay to Ascendant series. And way how you can create unequal battles with your teammates is to try to refract the teammate if he dies. Because of course, if you peek then, you peek when the enemies might be distracted. And in this round, I spotted that my teammate Jet was playing way too aggressively. And because I saw her pushing that much, I decided to walk into main and peek as soon as she died. So what can we take from this? In this round I not necessarily played together with Jet, but I made a decision based on the play that she did. So she didn't have to work together with me, but I did work together with her because I used her to get a kill. I know it's a little bit like baiting, but she was pushing anyway, better make use of it, right? And while we're talking about the basics of Valorant, this next point is of course also basic Valorant knowledge that everybody knows, but I just need to mention it in this video because it's so important, and that's that you can create unequal battles by using your abilities. I don't think I need to go in depth for this topic. I'll simply just show you 3 examples and you tell me if there was any counterplay over here. First we have the Sage Brimstone combo. Then a simple Waylay ult into Boathouse. The enemies had nowhere to go.
One enemy remaining.
I mean, just play it safe, right? And let's end with the simple stun guided salvo combo with Teho.
Niveau van safer.
All missiles away.
Kom op. Stunt kill, yes. Nice. I think these 3 clips prove that you can create very unequal battles with your abilities, so don't forget to use them. Next way to create an unfair advantage for you: use good positioning. I think a lot of Valorant players know that good positioning is important in Valorant, but also a lot of players don't know how to abuse it to the fullest. So let me give you a short summary. The first thing you need to know is that you shouldn't be holding an angle deep all by yourself. Take Silong on Haven for example. A lot of people are looking deep into main. And this is bad for 2 reasons. The first one is that if an enemy is peeking, they usually peek with multiple enemies, so it's an unequal battle but for the enemies. You don't want to peek 3 versus 1. And the second, less obvious reason why this might be bad is that if an enemy is peeking all by himself, it's basically an equal battle. You against that enemy. And we don't want that, of course. We want unequal battles in your favor, right? So stop peeking long like this all by yourself. Instead, go to a different position, and if you notice that the enemies are pushing because they use smokes and things like that, then use some of the previous tactics that we talked about. For example, create a crossfire with a teammate, or use a flash and then peek. And that's how you create unequal battles when the enemies are trying to push you. Also, one bonus about positioning, and that's about when to use off angles. Off angles are usually a pretty good way to get 1 kill, but the problem with off angles is that if you get a kill, it's hard to get away. So the golden rule with off angles: only use off angles if you play an agent with an escape. Think about Reyna for example. Okay. Or if you get into a 1v1 situation. In 1v1s you don't have to get away after you get a kill, of course. And especially when you know the enemy is low HP, like I did in this round, playing from off angles is so strong, because the enemies usually don't expect it.
Nice.
Okay, let's rewind a little bit and talk about the C-Long situation. Like I said before, usually you shouldn't be peeking C-Long all by yourself. However, there is a small exception, and that's if you have an operator, for example. Which brings us to the next point, to use your gun's strength. I mean, you don't have to be Einstein to know that some guns are better in some situations than others. If you got an operator looking into C-Long and the enemy is peeking with a Vandal, there's a pretty high chance that you will win the battle and it's an unfair advantage for you. However, sadly, not enough people are using their guns in their optimal strengths, and this all comes back to one thing, and that's not having a game plan. I know most Valorant players don't like to make game plans. They like to watch TikTok in between rounds. No, my friends, that's not a good thing to do. Instead of watching TikTok in between rounds, take a look at your money, then make a plan. Do you want to peek C-Long? Go for a Marshall. Do you want to chill in hookah? Maybe buy a shotgun, you know? And if you have a good game plan, you know what guns you need to buy, and now you can create some unequal battles. And since we're talking about the game plan, the next way to create unequal battles is to use good decision making. I know, decision making sounds the same as a game plan, but it's completely different. With the game plan, I mean that you need to make a plan at the start of the round, a rough sketch like push B, and with good decision making, I mean that you should adapt to what happens during the round. It's best explained in an example. I showed this a while ago in a short, but I think it's the perfect example of decision making, so sorry if you already seen this round. But here we go. In this game I was playing Neon, and I came into a 1v1 situation where I knew that the last guy was on C.
Oh my.
One enemy remaining.
What a lot of people would do in this situation is just plant the spike and maybe go for a battle. However, this is bad decision making, because if you do it, you will basically create an equal battle, and you don't want that. So instead of planting, I decided to rotate to A, and would you look at that, I spotted KO in middle again. And again, you see me wanting to go for a battle, but going for a battle over there is bad decision making, because it's an equal battle. Instead, I walked to the side, planted the spike, now the pressure is on the enemy, and that's how we won this round.
It's over.
Got him.
And this is just one example of decision making in a round. There are also some smaller decision making things you can do. Things like throwing your Viper Orb on the left, then making the enemy's wallbang and then peek on the right.
It will do.
Ah, that's the fake, dude. The fake. I think this all comes down to game sense. If you play a lot of Valorant, you start doing these things, and easy peasy unequal battles for you. Next thing, we shortly discussed it before, but you can create unequal battles by using time. Honestly, time might be one of the most valuable assets in Valorant, especially in the post-plant situations. As an attacker, you just want to plant the spike as fast as possible, and once you did that, the pressure will be on the enemies, like happened in the Neon round, you know, and this automatically creates an unequal fight for you, because you can do things like this.
Good job.
Okay, that worked, I guess. I didn't even need to peek the enemy over here. I won the round by simply playing time. Okay, now it's time to move to maybe the most important part of this video. And that's that now that we discussed a lot of ways how you can create unequal battles, it's important for you to realize that you can combine these things. Don't just make a game plan and buy the according gun, but instead make a game plan together with a teammate, buy the according guns, use your abilities, while using good positioning with the crossfire. You get what I mean, right? Combine these things, create as many unequal battles as possible, and good luck in your ranked games. Thank you for watching, I hope you learned something, and I see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.